From the age of 8 to 18, I was a very large child. I ended up eating horribly when I was, growing up with her. My dad and his wife was 450 pounds. So I grew up in a family where, food, fried, all the things that were wrong to eat were what I thought was acceptable. And I thought it was okay to be that way. So I was already kind of doomed from the start to be unhealthy and to be unfit. Just like most athletes, when they leave high school, their dream is to play college football. I got my dream. I went to Howard University on a full scholarship as an offensive lineman. When I got to Howard, though, it was a real struggle because my first semester, I gained about 40 pounds, from 290 to 330. Now, why that happened? Because at Howard, there was no real nutrition. It was just eating all the foods that you wanted to eat at your disposal. Cheeseburgers, hot dogs, fried this, fried that. And in the football world and mentality, the bigger you are, the better you are. So if you were like 305 but couldn't really get the job done, the coach would be like, put some more weight on, go back to the cafeteria, get some more weight on, you go to the gym, but eat more. So that mentality for me, again, was reinforced from the age of 18 to 22. Because in college, I was ended up being a 4-year starter at Howard, offensive line. I think my lightest, I was probably like 290, my heaviest, I was probably about 340. So again, that struggle, that bigger is better mentality, So for 5 years of college, I truly struggled with my weight. And the funny thing was, I was not happy with the weight. I didn't like it. But to be on the football field, to start and to play, I was told I needed it. So it was a never-ending battle between healthy and happy and football. And because again, I went to school on a scholarship to play football. So my job was to be a good football player. And I was told by my coaching staff, be heavy means you will be better. That's kind of the struggle I dealt with all through college. I got to the National Football League. I was drafted in 2003 out of Howard University. I was drafted to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jack Del Rio was my head coach. He's the current head coach of the Oakland Raiders, who actually beat the Denver Broncos last night, 30-20. Exciting game to watch. I was very happy to see that. Care and treatment, and I saw him deteriorate in front of my eyes over a period. After the NFL, I realized that the weight was not it. In the real world, because in the NFL you kind of call it in the dream world because you have the best of everything. You have like your chartered flights and you get paid all the time. So it's kind of it's not the real world. In the corporate world, the real world, bigger doesn't mean better. Honestly, it could be a hindrance. So I found out that being happy was being healthy. Even though I wasn't making as much money as I once was, I realized, what's the point of having all this money if you're dead? Because the path I was going on was to death. And I'll get to my family history in a little bit, but it was just so scary. When I went to the doctor, he said, Marques, you're 380 pounds, you're retired from the NFL. You have two choices. You can either drop weight and be happy, have a chance to not have all those family health problems that you have from your family history, or you can be lazy, go up, and you'll be probably dead before you're 40. Your call. That was probably the scariest wake-up call I ever had. And not to mention, my father died probably about 2 years prior from his health problem, his obesity. So it was just such a reality shock to say, Marques, either get this together or you are going to have a problem and you're probably not going to live past the age of 40. So I dropped the weight. I went from 380 to about 260. It took me about a good 12 months. I didn't diet, I call it a lifestyle change. When people try to diet, it doesn't work. You have that yo-yo effect. You're up, you're down, you're up. My dad tried to diet when he was losing his weight, but he would get on those pills, he'd lose probably about 50 pounds, and he gained back 80. So again, you're talking about a family of African Americans that come from the South that were raised that bigger is better. So when people saw me getting smaller, they were like, oh, my baby, are you okay? My baby, are you sick? I'm like, am I sick? What do you mean? You're only 250, 260. I'm like, yeah. Like, oh, you're not gonna live long. I said, no, if I'm 400, I'm not gonna live long. Let's get this straight. So again, it's that struggle. Like, I'm losing weight, but my family in the South's like, are you sick? See the mentality? Like, to them, being heavy means healthy, which is scary. So it's amazing how I try to talk to them today, look, won't you crack open a book about health? Oh, the books aren't right. The health people, they're not right. No, you're just lazy. Call what it is. You don't want to drop the weight. So again, that was part of the lifestyle change I had to go through. That you love, that raised you, that sacrificed, he put my brother and I through high school, his last $90,000 back in the early 90s. He put us through high school because he didn't want us to go to public school, he wanted us to have the best education. This man went broke, making sure his sons had the opportunity to be successful. To watch somebody like that go through dialysis 3 times a week, get a 6-inch gauge needle stuck in their arm, twice, one here, one there, to drain out the infection. To watch somebody go through that type of pain and that type of just anguish, it really makes you understand what love is of a father. Because he loved me, but I couldn't help him. It was just so aggravating because he got to that position by being heavy before I was born. So you really can't yell at somebody when they're doing something before you're born, because to see what they end up now as I was probably 21, 22. I went to Howard and it was 5 minutes away from me in school. So I would go see him every day as he was on dialysis. I would sit in his chair beside him and talk with him about whatever he wanted to talk about. And to see that, you all, is really horrible. To watch somebody just go from being a healthy, happy man to dying broke, dying with, he lost all of his teeth, he had infections on his feet, he became diabetic. He was probably going to lose some of his limbs if he hadn't passed away first, because it got that bad. He couldn't drink water, he could only do ice, because his kidneys couldn't process water. He couldn't do the things that he wanted to do in the last years of his life. And I hate that I had to watch him, and I hate that I couldn't help him. So that's part of my reason for being here, saying that what you all are doing in this room, trying to educate and trying to inspire and trying to teach, is truly, truly amazing. You guys are the real heroes trying to help educate people about these illnesses, overweightness, diet, diabetes, everything that happens to people from a health perspective. You all are trying to educate and stop this horrible, horrible process. And I commend you all. Here is part of success. I believe that. I lost my business about 2.5, 3 years ago. I lost $2 million in 90 days. I could have stayed down. I could have complained. I could have just stayed where I was. But who cares? Everybody has a problem. So why does it care about yours? Everybody has a struggle. I don't care who you are. So I got off my butt and I fixed it and I went on about my day. And the last third things why I'm successful, I believe, is I practice what I preach. I tell people all the time, leadership is doing things by example, not by talk. Talk is cheap. If I tell you all the time I'm successful, but I'm only posting on social media about, I'm only posting words but not pictures, you're like, Marcus, come on, man, you're full of it. Like, stop with all the BS. People are visual. If they see it, they want it. If they can see it and put their hands on it, then you have something that they want. I truly believe that what I have done so well is not just hard work. I've been told no so many times, but my acronym for no is next opportunity. So that's my acronym for no, next opportunity. If you don't want my services, somebody does. It's okay. Everybody's not gonna like you. It's not personal. Business never is. But I tell you all the time, it's about how you carry yourself, how you conduct yourself, and how you live your life. Period. But again, health and wellness to me, you all, is so big. I've lost 2 grandmothers to cancer. I've lost a father that I shouldn't have. And I'm gonna tell you guys this story. I wasn't going to, but I'm gonna tell you the story how my father passed away. And then I'm gonna close on some stuff about diabetes. My father was 57 years old. He ended up going to the hospital, having some issues, having a little checkup. I said, okay. So he gives me a call. I said, Marcus, I'm sorry, he says, Marcus, I said, yes, Dad, come to the hospital, it's an emergency. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm trying to go to training camp in a couple weeks. You're killing me, Dad, what's going on? So he's like, come in. The doctor says, Marcus, your father needs to have open heart surgery right away. I'm like, what? Yeah, your dad has, the valves around his heart are tightening and he can't get blood to his heart. I'm like, what? Like, what is this? This is a routine checkup. I freaked out. He said, Marcus, your dad is in no condition to sign off on this operation. You have to do this because you're here, you're his next of kin. I looked at him in his face. I said, Dad, can you make it through this operation? He said, I'll be okay. I said, Dad, no, don't BS me. Can you make it? I need to know. Because I didn't call my brother to ask him because I was right there. He said, Marcus, I can make it. I need to get this done, sign off on it, I'm good. Against my instinct, I signed off on it. He had his heart surgery, came out, was doing well, recovering, went to ICU, and I went to go see him. I drove an hour and a half to see him. Hey Dad, how you doing? Walk in the door, I have a little drink for him, his cane, his glasses. He says, get out. Get out? Dad, what are you talking about? I need rest, son. I love you, but get out. I said, okay. It's kind of cruel, but okay, fine. So I left his stuff. I said, kiss him on his forehead, I said, goodbye, Dad, love you, I'll see you tomorrow. 2:30 in the morning, I get a phone call from the hospital. Marcus, you need to come to the hospital right away. Your dad's in cardiac arrest. I said, what did you say to me? Your dad's in cardiac arrest. I said, okay. 2:30 in the morning. An hour and a half drive took me 32 minutes to the T. Never gonna forget it. I was driving 95 miles an hour up BW Parkway in Maryland. 95 miles an hour, praying the cop didn't stop me. If he did, I'd be like, hey man, you can arrest me if you want, so I'm getting to the hospital. Got to the hospital at 3:42 in the morning. Sitting in the waiting room, I'm like, okay, he's gonna be all right, just relax, relax, relax. Doctor walks in the hospital, into the waiting room. Marcus, your father was pronounced dead at 3:32 a.m. I'm like, what'd you say? Yeah. Your dad's pronounced dead 3:32 a.m. I said, okay. And I literally lost it. Lost it. And to find out, he choked to death on his own vomit in the ICU trying to recover from his surgery. So the point is that you all in this room are amazing. What you all are trying to do with education and preventative measures is absolutely amazing. Because people like my father passed away, not just from his heart, it was the weight. It was the hypertension. It was the pre-diabetic. It was the kidney failure. He had a conglomerate of problems. My grandfather, both his legs, started off with the fried food, the tobacco, the alcohol. My grandmother died of lung cancer, smoked every day, alcohol 11 o'clock in the morning like clockwork. These are problems that hit families all of the time. And people like me are supposed to be for people like you guys, but I don't do the work. I didn't go to school for medicine. I went to school to become a finance major. Play football a little bit and do finance. Point is, without you all, there's no way the world could become a better place for health purposes. So please continue to do what you're doing as nurse practitioners, doctors, selling medical products. Continue to do what you're doing, because without you, the world is going to be a much more horrible place. That I can promise you. And I've lost enough family members. My brother and I fight constantly because he won't drop the weight. He's 375, he needs to get down to about 310. He's 6'9", he got to get the weight down. So we fight constantly on losing the weight. To the point where he might talk to me for a month or two. I'm like, Jonathan, you don't want to talk to me? That's fine. I still love you. I loved you when you were a little fat kid in that picture back in high school. I don't care. I don't care if you're a Hall of Fame football player. I don't care if you're the youngest person in the NFL history in the Hall of Fame. I don't care. If you die because of like granddad or because of like dad, I'll never forgive myself if I don't tell you what I think you need to do to get yourself healthy. So we have a constant battle, which, you know what? It's one I'm prepared to go to that front line, and like a D-line, I'm going to attack that situation because I want my brother to be happy and healthy. If anybody have any questions for me on anything at all? Guys, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.